Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I have been coming across videos on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. The videos will be down below. And these videos are to a concert I went to back in 1988. I've seen well over 100, probably about 150. I don't know, I lost track. My first concert was back in 1980, Queen, News of the World. I've been over hundreds of concerts, and this concert sticks out. Probably one of the greatest concerts of all time. And I found videos lately of the exact concert I was at, and I know it's the concert I was at because it was a one-time show, sold out. It was Guns N' Roses, Deep Purple. Guns N' Roses opened up, then Deep Purple, and then Aerosmith closed the show. And it was one of the most spectacular shows I've ever seen. One of the greatest shows in the history of rock and roll concerts. Like I said, there's a few videos down below from that night. There's actually a report from MTV of this show. It was a one-time show, sold out. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little, try to quickly go over the show, the things I remember from that night. Like I said, that was 1988, so we're talking 36 years ago, I believe. Quick math in my head. Let me fill you in really quick. I was there. Okay, me and four of my friends went down. We went down in like a 1978 Buick Electra. I found one picture from that night. I had a camera. I don't know where all the other pictures are, but I found one picture of me in the car, in the passenger seat, on the way to the show. I'll probably use that on the thumbnail. I think I'm imbibing in the picture. I hope I could post that picture. Okay, I heard about the tickets going on sale, and I had just recently gotten my very first credit card. I think I was like 21, 22 years old. So of course I whip out my new credit card and I called up. First time I ever bought tickets online on the phone. And I was shocked. The tickets had just gone on sale, and I managed to get like the third tier way up at the top for Giant Stadium. 5 tickets I bought 4 tickets. That'll come in important in a second. Okay, so I'm actually working at an architect's office at this time, and I go to work in a tie, a briefcase, all that stuff. And I was going to leave work early to drive down to Giant Stadium. And right before I'm ready to leave, I told the boss I asked him if I could leave early. And he said, yeah. But then right before I was ready to leave, my boss picked me for a special assignment. His daughter worked with disabled kids, and some disabled kids were touring. His daughter was bringing the disabled kids to tour a construction site. And he picked me to be like the tour guide. So it was kind of cool and enlightening, and I still feel good about doing that. But I was in such a hurry trying to do a good job with these kids as a tour guide, and I didn't know what to tell them about construction and stuff. But that's what happened before I left. Okay, so we drove down. I had 4 tickets. All right, so we looked for a hotel room, and we found a place. I think it was a Red Roof Inn. And as soon as I went in and asked if they had a room for the night, or a room for 5 guys. And the hotel, the person at the desk goes, well, do you want it just for 1 hour, 2 hours? Yeah, so I kind of wondered what kind of hotel we were staying at that would usually have like 5 guys in a hotel room for 1 hour, because it was one of those hotels you could get for 1 hour at a time. But anyway, we took it for the whole night. The next thing we had to do was get a ticket from my friend. There was one guy, I only bought 4 tickets, and one of us didn't have a ticket. So we pulled into this huge parking lot at Giant Stadium, the East Rutherford complex. It was huge, the Meadowlands, huge parking lot. We get out of the car. We're looking for scalpers. It's probably about 4 or 5 p.m. And the coolest thing, we could hear from inside the stadium. We hear a guitar, and it goes bum 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 bum. Then it would stop, and then it would go again. Bum bum bum. It was Paradise City. It was the riff from Paradise City. So we're standing outside in the afternoon, and we could hear this riff coming outside over the stadium walls. We could hear somebody, this riff. And it turns out in videos later, you could see Slash doing a sound check inside the empty stadium. The video came out later. So later all of us saw what we were hearing was Slash doing a sound check inside the empty. I'll have the video for that down below. I don't know if I found that video of him of Slash standing in the empty stadium. So we managed to get a ticket for my friend. We go to the show, and like I said, Guns N' Roses opened up, and we were way up in the third tier, back of the stadium. And as soon as as soon as Guns N' Roses hit the stage, my friends were maniacs, and as soon as they came on, my friends all stood up, all four, me and the four guys, and we just started running down the stairs. And we went down the third tier, running down the stairs, down the second tier, down the first tier. Then we got to the big blue wall at Giant Stadium. I had never been there before, but there's a giant blue wall. That's what it's called, I think. And people were jumping over it. I remember running down, and I feel terrible, but I remember, stepping on people, stepping over seats and rows of seats, just rushing down, trying to get to that wall. And once I got there, you see people jumping off, jumping down, and it was a good 15 feet down to the ground, down to the field. And people are just dropping off this wall and running and trying to get into the crowd before the bouncers catch them, because there's about maybe, 10, 20 bouncers all in the field watching for people dropping down and running and grabbing them. But there was way too many people jumping over the wall for them to catch everybody. So, we're just waiting until the bouncers are distracted with other people catching other people, and we dropped. And I knew I had to hit the ground running. So, I dropped that 15 feet, bam, onto the ground, and I just hit the ground running. I was a young lad then. I was spry, and I made it into the crowd. Some of the coolest things from the show, and we just blended in. One of the worst things, this show was like 6-7 hours long. And I didn't have a ticket to be on the floor, so I couldn't leave, or the field. So I couldn't leave to go to the bathroom. So I had to hold it for this whole time, because they would check my ticket coming back down to the field. So that was tough, man. Okay, one of the things that stuck out about this show, and you'll see it in this video, they're actually throwing toilet paper. The toilet paper, because there's hundreds of bathrooms inside Giant Stadium, and they took all the toilet paper out. I don't know if this is this is the only time I've ever seen this out of the 100 shows I've been to. And they're throwing toilet paper up on the stage, and you could see it in this video. You could see the blue wall. I remember what Axl Rose was wearing. He was wearing white leather. And you can't see this in the video, but on his t-shirt, he's wearing it looks like the Coca-Cola logo, except it says cocaine instead of Coca-Cola. That's what he was wearing that day. I remember the guys from GNR arguing amongst themselves halfway through the set. I remember Slash saying something about people still using, and some of us are trying, they were having issues with using and drinking, and I remember them arguing on stage about this. So it was it was one of the first times GNR ever played. They were a new band in '88 at this time, and they didn't play it. This is the first time they played in New England. I don't know if they ever played any other shows in New England back in this era. So the toilet paper flying up on the stage, and Axl's getting angry. He's getting ticked off. You see the toilet paper, it's missing, just barely missing them, flying rolls of toilet paper. The cool thing, nobody threw toilet paper at Deep Purple, though they were probably out of it by then. Aerosmith, when Aerosmith came on, toilet paper comes flying up, and the coolest thing is, Steven Tyler doesn't get mad, he doesn't duck, he catches the toilet paper and he punts it back out into the crowd. It's like the coolest thing. You see GNR not being able to handle it. They're the young band, they're getting all angry, they're arguing. Aerosmith just plays the crowd, man. They catch the toilet paper and they punt it back out. That was one of the coolest things I remember. I think his name is John Lord, the organ player for Deep Purple. And I remember him on the organ, and I thought the organ was going to tip over. He's rocking the organ like Space Trucker. He's rocking the organ like it almost tips over like frontwards, then he rocks it backwards, and he rocks, and he's playing it the whole time like boom. Yeah, and the whole organ's rocking off its wheels back and forth. It was so cool. When Aerosmith came on, I remember looking up into the box seats. There was box seats I was on the field looking up. It was nighttime then. That's another thing I could tell. I could tell that this was shot at my show because of the blue wall, because of the toilet paper, because what the kids are wearing, what I was wearing, what the band was wearing. I remember everything about this show. And I remember seeing Guns N' Roses, but I remember seeing Deep Purple because Aerosmith closed the show. And I remember seeing the other bands sitting up in the box seats watching Aerosmith, like the guys, this is how you do it, and they were up in their box watching Aerosmith close the show. Aerosmith played for hours. This show didn't get over till the wee morning hours, as they say in one of the videos. One of the most spectacular things I never saw at any other show. I think it was LaGuardia or JFK. I don't know which airport it is. I honestly don't know. I didn't look it up. But there's an airport near there, and you can see the airplanes taking off, like behind the stage, And then the other coolest thing is there was a fireworks show at the end of the Aerosmith set. I don't know how they had the fireworks and the airplanes taking off. I didn't know how. I mean, from my point of view, they looked like they were right next to each other. But I'm sure, in reality, the airplanes are probably over here and the fireworks are over here. But it was awesome seeing, at the end, watching Aerosmith just play for 2 hours, just own the stage. And this place was filled with 60,000 people. One time only show. The only time, they hadn't played in New England up until this point. So this area, New York City, this New England, we were dying to see them. This was a huge show. And then, the fact that it was 3 generations, GNR, Aerosmith, and Deep Purple. Deep Purple from back in the 60s, Aerosmith from the 70s, and GNR from the 80s. It was one of the most awesome concerts I have ever seen in my life. So check out the video down below. For this, of course, I'm not proud of this, but I was the person at the time that was in charge of bringing the party favors, and I remember having a large amount of Columbia's finest with me, and we got back to the room that night, and none of us slept. We were up all night. I remember actually watching the sun come up over the not the Hudson River, the East River. I'm not sure. There's a river that goes right by there between New Jersey and New York. I'm not sure which river that is, but I remember seeing the sun come up, as we were all still awake, and a great time was had by all. Don't get me wrong. It's a fond memory, but I am very happy that I've been clean and sober for 17 and a half years now. It's one of the good memories I have from back then. It was a crazy night. The videos will be down below. Let me know if you were there or you at one of your greatest concerts. Let me know in the comments. You guys have a great Tuesday.